Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on
Good
where you
evening.
are watching us from. We are glad you could join us. Welcome to today's edition of the Leadership Talk, brought to you by the Global Leadership Group. The Global Leadership Group is a leadership company that aims to shape the leadership journey of individuals and corporate organizations and make sure that we tap into the potentials that we have in people and bring out the best in them. This evening, this morning, this afternoon, we are discussing the modern leader and his purpose. We know that leadership in the 18th century, leadership in the 19th century, and leadership in the even 20th century has changed. Today, leadership is different. Now, we want to look at what the modern leader is. What does he look like? And I'm using he to represent both male and female. So, my sisters, please understand what is his purpose? How should the modern leader lead? How should the modern leader navigate change or manage change? How should a modern leader um, create or demonstrate the vision to the people that he is leading? And we are privileged today to be hosting three amazing leaders who will share their experiences with us as far as this topic is concerned. We're looking forward to having Lady Reverend Moha, who is a transformation manager with Consolidated Bank Ghana. She is a certified professional trainer and change practitioner. She is a minister of the gospel who is very passionate about serving God and people. And she has been in active ministry for over 20 years in performing various roles. Doc will join us, Reverend Moha will join us in the course of our conversation. We're also privileged to have today Dr. Andrew Sapon Newman, who is the CEO of Land and Property Services Limited. He's a seasoned management consultant and has over 30 good years of experience in business consulting and property management. He holds an MSc in and then MPhil in estate management from South Bank University, London, and has worked as a business manager negotiator for Partmeet, a subsidiary of Genesis Housing Group in the UK. Dr. Andrew has successfully developed effective business strategies for property investors and development companies, including negotiating subcontractor roles for major projects like the refurbishments of the Parliament Annex, that is the Job 600 with SSA Ventures. Doctor, we are privileged to have you. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening. Thank you. And hello to your viewers all over the world.
Thank you very much. In the course of the conversation, we'll also be expecting Mr. Desmond Israel, who is a highly accomplished lawyer and data privacy information security practitioner with over 15 years of experience in cybersecurity across Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and Liberia, specializing in cyber laws, global data privacy, and technology policy research. He is the founder of Information Security Architects Limited in Ghana, a GW Law Merit Scholar with an LLM in National Security and Cybersecurity from George Washington University, and a fellow with the Center for AI and Digital Policy and the Internet Security Alliance in the USA. Desmond is passionate about the intersection of technology, law, and policy, and volunteering as a lead researcher for the Guidance Safety Framework for the Metaverse with XRSI in California and an associate with Child Online Africa with membership in various professional organizations like the Ghana Bar Association and the ISC2. In the course of our conversation, Desmond will join us. Wherever you are watching us from, thank you for joining us. Please leave your name and where you are watching us from in the comment section so that we will give you the GLG welcome and ensure that you are part of this conversation. So leave your name and where you are watching us from and let us give you the GLG welcome. Right. Doc, thank you so much once again for joining us.
Thank
We
you.
are starting our conversation. I want to look at the definition of modern leadership. So when we talk of modern leadership, comparing it to the traditional leadership that we know, what is it? What's the difference between the modern leader and the traditional leader? What should we look at for?
Right. To define and compare the roles of a modern leader and a traditional leader or traditional leadership, we can consider some differences in key working, methodologies. But I would want to address the misconception when it comes to a leader. You see, most people consider a leader to be a manager. That is where we have some discrepancies because managers who manage in management, they are focused on the triple constraints. That is, they look out for time, quality, and money. Their job is to make profits. When it comes to leadership, leadership encompasses, the totality of managing a team in the short term, you know, to derive a long-term vision. See, so the leader should always have a vision that they structure, their working arrangement, a framework that leads to the accomplishment of the vision. But they work through the short term objectives of getting things done that way. Uh, Modern leadership is different from the traditional leadership because in the traditional form of leadership, one would agree with me that it had, a greater element of what we would call the controlling management ethics, because the traditional element runs through a certain identifiable system. I mean, that is styles of management. You may have the authoritarian style of management or of leadership. That is the traditional leadership. Then you have the laissez-faire type, which is leaving people to do what they can do, which presupposes that the people you are leading have some specific, skills, experiences, and knowledge that you would not want to interfere. There is the authoritarian leadership in the traditional setup. They dictate. It's like the know all, the know all type of leadership. So they tell you what to do and you follow. There is also the coaching. They tell you what to do, how to do it, etc. But modern leadership, now through experiences and a lot of interactions with other disciplines and all that, because now people come up with different forms of disciplines. One person would have several areas of discipline: law, engineering, all sorts of things. So when you're dealing with people like that as a leader, yes, you have the vision, you are managing the execution of events to get to the vision that you have. You have these qualified, experienced people. You cannot run the leadership system by the authoritarian style. You will lose a lot of expertise and input that these experts could bring to bear on the project or organization. So in modern leadership, there is the effort to be democratic, so to speak. When it comes to leadership, you allow others to bring in what they have. You allow others to support the team in the best possible way with their experiences and their inputs. So when we talk of modern leadership naturally we'll be looking at incidents of collaboration. So they collaborate, they create a very good teamwork, and then instead of relying solely on their own expertise, that is the traditional leader, the modern leader would encourage open communication, value diverse perspective, and foster a culture of inclusivity. There is also the need for the modern leader to be flexible and adaptable in their approach to issues. Modern leaders are better able to navigate through change and uncertainties whilst embracing new ideas and technologies to be ahead in a rapidly changing world. There is also empowerment. As a modern leader, you should empower your team. You do so by delegating authority and providing them with resources and support they need to succeed, as opposed to traditional leaders who would like to monopolize and vest authority and power in themselves. Modern leader focuses on developing the potential of their employees and creating a culture of trust and accountability. I would also want to add that the modern leader should possess a high emotional level of intelligence, what we call emotional intelligence, which enables them to understand and manage their own emotions, as well as effectively navigate relationship and conflicts within the team. The modern leader must show empathy, self-aware, be able to inspire and motivate others. This will bring to the fore every conceivable ability within the team to give off their best, and this helps in advancing progressively to attain the vision. The purpose of leadership in modern leadership terms are guided by strong sense of purpose and value. They are committed to making a positive impact on society and the environment, and of course, strive to create a sustainable and ethical business that benefits all stakeholders. So, in effect, this is the distinction I would want to draw between the traditional leader and then the modern leader. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doc. Whilst you were speaking, I was just taking note. I'm like, hey, I was just marking myself, benchmarking myself to the things you're saying, and I'm wondering, do
Whether
we really have leaders in Ghana? Because it seems to be a lot. Growing up, we know that leaders, the authoritative leaders, do this, and you mentioned open communication. You
yes,
mentioned collaboration.
that's correct.
Growing up during our time, the kind of leaders we had, they speak
Authoritarian,
and you keep quiet. You
dictatorial,
just you just cannot give an opinion.
that's correct.
But
And
we
so,
know
in that regard, we lose a
yes,
lot of inputs that would have come
exactly.
from, yes, those from the. Some people, I mean, there are certain things, of course, it is said that we don't know it all. So, there will be an area that somebody below you might be an expert. You never know. But if
Yeah.
you allow them the free, um, reign, they are able to robe in all these elements, and then it's all to the good of the organization and the vision that is before you.
True. Especially in the modern workplace, where currently you have different types of generations within the workplace. And
That's
these are especially the millennials and the Gen Zs, they are not the ones you will talk to say, don't say anything, and they will keep quiet.
no,
And
not
so
at all.
sometimes when they open up, the traditional leaders see them as arrogant or that
Mhm.
they don't respect. And so it stifles productivity at the workplace.
Exactly.
So I'm glad we are having this conversation.
Mm.
And coming from you, Doc, it means that it doesn't have you don't have to be like modern leadership has nothing to do with age. Does it? I'm wondering.
No, no, not at all. Not at all.
Exactly.
Not at all. Because you see, it is said that um, managers, there are many of them. They
Mm,
are bound, but leaders are few.
indeed.
So there happens to be the element of some uniqueness. You see, leaders sometimes are said to be born. Okay,
Mm,
so the quality of leadership sometimes are seen within certain people, sometimes even without formal education to the highest level,
mm,
but they possess leadership. They can manage people, they can direct affairs, guide people to attain whatever purpose, objective, vision that they have. And it works like magic, even without, education. I quite remember when I was a young person and I used to work with a friend's mom who is a contractor. In fact, it's her efforts and success that even led me into the built environment.
mm,
This woman is without, formal education. I think she's a Form 4 leaver or something. But working with her, when she's dealing with her lawyers, when she's dealing with the draftsmen, architects, accountants, etc., the confidence with which she approaches the work and their interactions, it's amazing. And
mm.
the questions that she poses, you will not believe she's not been to school before. Using the local language, she would ask relevant questions, legally, defined questions. If it is the accountant she's dealing with, you can know that yes, this woman knows what she's about. And no wonder she became the one of the um, biggest estate developers in the country.
Mm.
He was in the league of the Manets, the Reggie
Yeah.
Manuels, and then when you go to Adenta, most of the estates there, she built them.
Yeah.
So leadership ha- has to do with certain qualities
Qualities.
within the individual, and then
Yeah.
it can be influenced by education. You sharpen your leadership traits with a training, with the fact that you take interest in almost everything around you. That also helps. So
Yeah. Awesome. I'm glad you mentioned
that is what I can add to it.
training. Yes. Yes. That debate as to whether leaders are born or made, I think it's been going on since the time of Adam. But the most important thing is that
Hmm.
leadership qualities or leadership is a skill, the skill, and it can be learned. And so you can decide to
Certainly.
improve on your leadership skills by, like you said, availing yourself to be trained. And the fact that we are having this conversation now brings your attention to the fact that leadership is not as usual. I mean, there has to be a change in how you lead. especially if you are leading young people, you are leading the millennials, you are leading the Gen Zs, you need to um, have in mind what Doc has just shared with us, talking about um, using collaboration instead of just lording it over the people, open communication, looking at inclusivity, looking at being flexible and adaptable, and empowering people and allowing them to work. You give people power, you should give them authority to act as well. And then also developing people. Thank you so much. You mentioned that when you're talking about the differences between the leader and the manager, you mentioned short term and long term vision. Please help us. How can modern leaders balance their short term objectives with the long term vision?
Sure. With leadership, like I said earlier, it's a question of the leader having a vision, mobilizing resources and other, team players to get the vision to come to fruition. So, um, with the short term, the short term, you got to, the leader must know the objective that is driving him or her. The leader should be very conversant with the objective, which, of course, in implementing leads to fulfilling the vision of the leader. So, in the short term, you will be working on your objectives. You outline your objectives clearly, it should be clear, so that when communicating the objectives and vision to your team players, there will be no ambiguities. And this, moves the dream ever forward. Did
Okay.
that help?
Yes, yes. So it means that in in looking at the vision, which is the long range, the objectives should be clear and it should lead us towards achieving the vision. In essence,
Absolutely.
that is
Absolutely.
what he said.
Absolutely. But
Right.
with managers, the managers, whole interest lies in time, quality, and money. So the
Hmm.
manager will manage time very well to effect so that the manager can make more money. And then what the manager is providing, if it is service, it should be, you know, of a quality standard. If it is a product, it is also the same of quality. So manager focuses on these three constraints. However, with a leader, you have a long-term vision to accomplish. So whatever you are doing is the objectives that, when managed well, will lead you onto the vision. So that should strike the difference.
Right, right. And I'm wondering, so from what you are saying, can we say that managers cannot lead or are not leaders, but leaders are managers? And
Certainly,
and
certainly.
if that is the case, then when we are giving positions or titles to people within the organization, should we consider people with leadership skills or just appoint people because they are managers and we want them to manage? What would you advise?
The main objective in the question that you have raised is what the organization is looking for. Is
Okay.
it an organization that is focusing on making profit? Is it an organization that has a vision, to affect the totality of the nation, the global world, or what have you? So that will be what is going to inform as to who is put in place, whether a leader or a manager.
Hey, that is very informative. So you need to assess the organization and what you want to achieve and what will really help you achieve whatever goal you have. If it's profit focused, then bring the leaders, let them crack the whip all the time
Absolutely.
to get you the results. But if you
Yes.
want to make an impact, you want to develop people, you want to grow people, then bring leaders who will
Yes.
collaborate, who will pursue inclusivity, and who would make sure that they empower people and develop them so that you can achieve. Thank you so much. Doc. If
In
you have just
short, if
yes,
I should add,
yes.
it means you should avoid putting square pegs in round holes.
Mm,
That's about it.
definitely. Wow. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. If you have just joined us, this is the Leadership Talk Show, the Leadership Time. We are having a conversation with Dr. Andrew Newman. We are talking about the modern leader and his purpose. And we've had an interesting discussion so far. You can later on join us from where we started, but continue to listen because we are learning a lot. Leadership has changed in today's world, in the modern world, in the modern workplace. And we need to embrace that kind of change and make sure that we are impacting our organizations positively as leaders. In God we trust. You said great discussion. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Data Link site. Say thank you, Doc, for that insightful difference between management and leadership. Thank you, Data Link site. I'm happy. Anochi says very interesting discussions. Thank you very much. Remember that Leadership Talk Time is brought to you by the Leadership Group. We're a leadership company that helps to bring or to develop modern leaders, leaders with the right skills to make the right impact within their organization. So if you're an organization and you want to develop your leaders, the people that you've put in various positions, you want them to be leaders in the right sense of the word, then the Global Leadership Group is a company you should go to help your leaders bring out the best in them and improve on their leadership skills. Now, Doc, we are continuing the conversation. You mentioned that leaders, modern leaders, actually embrace change. Or when you're talking about the difference between leaders and managers, you said that leaders embrace change. What do you propose to be the strategies that modern leaders need to effectively manage change? Because we know that today change is happening so rapidly. When we were young, we said that it's like a speed of light. I don't know whether it has surpassed the speed of light, because, especially because of technology. Things
Sure.
are changing so fast. So, what strategies would you propose that modern leaders should have in order to effectively manage change their organization in the view of technology and the changes in society?
Mm, right. The the view of modern leadership concept is that the leader must certainly have vision and direction. Is one of the
I'm
tools
not
that.
sure if it's from my end, but I'm struggling to hear you.
Okay, is it okay? I'm shouting now. Is it better? Hello, hello.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead. Dr. Nima, go ahead.
I think it's the network.
Yes, please go ahead with your discussion. What
Yes,
you are saying.
yes. I was saying the modern leader or leadership concept, you know, has outlined certain relevant tools, or if you like, elements, key elements that would assist in driving home the leadership purpose. And this includes having a vision and direction. There is also inspiration and motivation, and then empowerment and development. So the leader should consider to articulate the goals and objectives that inspire others and create a sense of purpose and direction for the team or the organization. The leader should inspire and motivate their members to perform at their best and strive for excellence so that it brings in continuous learning and training. They lead by example. The leader cannot be uh, the manager who gives orders and then falls back to read his newspaper. The leader must lead by example, demonstrating commitment, passion, and integrity in everything that he does. And this is what inspires others to follow and, of course, take his instructions. Having said that, it is also important for the leader to empower his group, I mean, the team members. For after all, it is said that together each achieves more. That's team. So the leader must empower the team by delegating responsibilities, providing opportunities for growth and development, fostering a culture of trust and collaboration. This is to support the team in reaching their full potential, then ultimately considering the key working factors that would include assessing the impact. Because as a leader, as you are empowering people to do their work, as you are motivating, as you are creating inspiration, you don't stop at that. You have to, of course, have the system to
Yeah.
assess the impact that you are creating so that the whole thing becomes an ongoing, study. You make sure you impact, you inspire, that at the same time you organize so that you evaluate the potential impact of each short-term objective on the overall goals of the organization. Then you also have to evaluate the urgency. By this, we are saying you place um, competing objectives. Okay, you determine which one should be acted on first by way of outlining the most important objectives first. Then you achieve them to the last. Now, the other element that ought to be considered will be resources. Yes, we said managers tend to focus on the resources they have and how they manage it to make profit. But leaders consider resources available as well, such as budget, time, and manpower, to determine which objective can be realistically achieved within the given constraints. The leader needs to seek input. And by this, what we are saying is that the leader is not a superman.
Indeed.
He has his weaknesses, his limitations. He's answerable to stakeholders, team members, and experts. So you contact these sources and experts to gain perspective, different perspective as to how you are approaching events. This can help the modern leader to make more decisions that are informed and prioritized effectively. That is, you have information, you are well informed. So, whatever decision you take, it means it is in line with the objectives and the vision. We can also talk about aligning this to your strategic goals. Leaders can, modern leader, prioritize short-term objectives that are closely aligned with the organization's strategic goals and long-term vision. This ensures that the efforts are focused on activities that would have the greatest impact on overall success of the organization. Then we need to have a timeline, because if you don't set timelines, then it means forever you'll be hampering on something that you are unable to assess its impact and then see or evaluate its progress. So that timelines are also very essential. You need to have a timeline and then work your objectives towards the vision. I hope that answers your question.
Indeed, and you've shared a lot with us, and I'm actually learning a lot, and I know that our participants are also learning. And I think from the onset, when we started this program, we made it clear that you don't really need a title or a position to be a leader. So if you're watching us and you think that, oh, all these things are for my manager or for my leader in the organization, no, no, no. It's for all of us. We all ought to learn these things and keep working at them and practice them so that, yes, you are influencing people in your small corner. You may not know, but even if you are waiting for you to be handed down a position or a title to see yourself as a leader, then prepare so that when that time comes, you'll be a great, great leader,
Indeed.
having considered all the things that Doc has shared with us, um,
Absolutely.
especially providing opportunities for people. I've encountered leaders, and I thank God for that. The leaders that I've encountered in my career have been leaders that have really poured themselves into me, leaders that have given me opportunities, stretched me, yes, stretching, but then making sure that I don't break. And I can say that most of the things that I know and do today, I can trace it back to the leaders that I encountered, that influenced me, that gave me opportunity, that brought out the best in me, that saw the potential and empowered me and developed me even to come this far. So leaders are critical for our generation. And thank you so much. Look, let's look at technology. There are some people that we call they're born before computers,
That's right.
and we think that for them technology is not their thing, so to speak. But then we have the technology babies. They are the Gen Zs, they are the millennials. They were born in the age where computers and all that. And we know that technology is advancing so fast, especially in terms of artificial intelligence. Last year thereabouts, there was so much noise about AI, especially ChatGPT, and we're all saying, "Oh, it's going to take our jobs," and all that. We say, "No, just embrace it, leverage it to help you work," and we've been working on that. Then recently, I heard that there's another one that is more powerful than ChatGPT, and I'm like, "Hey, so right now we are booting ChatGPT out, and we are bringing another one which we think is more powerful," and that is how fast technology is changing. So looking at that, and leaders, how can modern leaders leverage on the technological platform that we have available for them to be effective as leaders?
Yes, I think we are in an era where like the um, slave trade times. I think at the dungeons, the journey of no return.
Yes,
Yes, so we're not going back. So
definitely.
technology is speedily advancing at an astronomical kind of feat. So it is important as a leader to acclimatize yourself with the changing technological trends, especially in your area of
Mhm.
focus.
Yeah.
You got to make sure that whatever happens in your discipline, your area, you have to be aware of it. If you fail to do this, I'm afraid your leadership will come into question because the Gen Zs,
Hmm.
they are very sharp as far as
Wow.
technology is concerned.
Yeah.
I mean, if I should, just bring in an incident that happened. I was holding my, what do you call it? This modern phones, the digital phone, and
The
I
smartphone.
didn't know what happened. The
Mhm.
light, the touch light on it, just um, came on, and I was confused. How do I get this thing off? And my small boy, who is about 6 years now, saw me struggling, said, "Daddy, what do you want to do?" I said, "Look, the light, I didn't put it on, but it's on." So you don't know how to put this off. And he took it, and then just within, you know, two, three flips, the thing was off. I said,
Mhm.
wow, amazing. So the Gen Zs are different. If
Yeah.
you are a leader, and even for your own self confidence, you have to be abreast with the advancement in technology within your scope of endeavor. Now, this is what we term the embracing continuous learning.
Yes.
So by this, leaders should stay informed about the latest technological advancement and societal trends by changing and doing continuous learning from professional development. Okay, so professionally, you should know what is in vogue, and then you do your best to be part of it. You join professional associations, professional groups, and in doing so, you realize that things, are channeled to you, and you are able to enhance your knowledge in many spheres that are relevant to your leadership. There is also the culture of innovation. You got to encourage creativity and experimentation. Most managers, what they don't like is to experiment because they find that to be wasting resource,
Yeah. And time
valuable
ago.
resource. Yes, they don't like that at all. They would want you to focus on what you've been instructed to do. You see, but modern leaders and leadership, we are saying, should encourage creativity and experimentation within the organization to adapt technological change and stay ahead of the competition. So, for a modern leader, experiment, research, trying something different is very key and you know allowable. Now we should also look at communication. The leader, the modern leader, should develop a very strong and effective communication. This is crucial in times of change to keep employees informed and engaged and motivated so
Yes.
that if you know how to communicate what is going on, you're able to communicate to all stakeholders. You communicate to the employees, you communicate to even your clients so that there's a holistic understanding of exactly what is happening in the organization, outside the organization, and on you move. There is also the need to build a diverse and inclusive team.
Mm.
Diverse in the sense that it is said that diversity, brings strength. and improvement, because when you look at things from different angles, it is there that you are able to focus on what works and what doesn't work. Yes, so it's important to build a diverse and inclusive team. You select people with special, you know, aptitudes, skills, and other experiences, so that when these people are put together on your team, you know that from A to Z, when things are happening, you would have somebody who has some good knowledge of the experiences that are forthcoming. Then you got to the leader should also be flexible, agile, and open to change. You have to be open to change, because they said that nothing is forever and time changes. Events do bring different results and occurrences. So if you are not able to adapt and make yourself as a leader flexible to changes, then I'm afraid you'll be stuck in the era of the dinosaurs. So it's
Hmm.
important that your agility is, brought to the fore to move your organization. And then, having said that, we can talk of collaboration and network, so that in creating that diverse, experiences and networking and all that, you are also building relationships with other leaders and organizations that can provide valuable insights and support in navigating technological and societal changes. By implementing these strategies, I believe modern leaders can effectively manage rapid technological and societal changes and lead the organizations to success in an ever evolving world. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. These are nuggets that when we decide, and it's a decision you take as an individual, right? We are sharing these things with you, but I mean, they are beneficial and they will go a long way to help you as a leader. But the decision to start implementing them is what will take you far. Thank you so much, Doc. We'll go on a short break. But before we do that, Doc mentioned something that the body leader should be open to change and should be adaptable to change. And this is very important because whether we like it or not, change will happen and will continue to happen. Like Doc said, we are not going back. So it's forward ever. And indeed, change will happen. And that brings to mind the book Who Moved My Cheese? If you don't adapt to change, you'll be left behind. So please, as leaders, as individuals, let's learn to embrace change and let's adapt. And let's also have our antennas up that things are changing. So even before it gets there, you're already prepared. You know what will happen. Somebody says in the year 2025, which jobs will be very key. And that's how they are directing their children to take programs in line with those. So please let's embrace change. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll talk about ethical leadership and we'll see how, as leaders, we can leave legacies for generations after us. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you so much. Yes, look out for our International Leadership Masterclass. You don't want to miss it for anything in this world. Watch our pages, our social media handles. We will share more information with you. But it's coming up live and it will help us. Some of these things that Doc is sharing with us, we are going to really sit down to help you strategize and focus on them and see what we can practically do to improve on our leadership skills and implement some of these things that will make us great leaders. So when you see the date, the venue, the time, please make it a point to be part of this masterclass, leadership masterclass. Well, we are looking at leadership and ethics. So ethical leadership. So how would the modern leaders maintain ethical standards in the face of competitive pressures? Because other, especially, I mean, you own your own business, you know how it is. If you are bidding, and sometimes I, as an individual, have decided that certain categories of organizations I wouldn't want to do business with them because I tried it once and I didn't like it. It's all about ethical leadership, especially at the global leadership group. This is what we actually stand for, ethical leadership. So how can the modern leader still remain ethical in the face of competition when they want their business to grow, when they want to sustain the business and they don't want to cut corners? How can that be?
Yes. Um, when it comes to ethics,
Mm.
this is a very crucial factor, very crucial factor in modern leadership and management as well. Because ethically, sorry, sorry about that.
That's fine.
Um, we need to uphold ethical standards. Leaders should hold themselves and others accountable
Mm.
for upholding ethical standards. This is very crucial because it is said that in organizations, in business, wherever you find yourself, trust and goodwill
Mm.
is essential because you can advance your cause when others have trust in you, when others can sense the goodwill with which you proceed in all that you do. So ethically, we owe it as a responsibility to the general public, to the environment, to ourselves, and to everything that we hold dear in our execution of leadership strides. So ethics is of grave importance. Also internationally, I mean now we have the ISO standards.
Yeah.
We know everything that you do. They want you to meet on an acceptable level globally. So you cannot cut corners. You do so at your own peril. The moment it gets round that this organization or this leader, this is his modus operandi, he's not straight, he has no ethical values, then you know that will spell your demise. So I believe ethically we should um, do our best to stay on the narrow and straight path. We should also create enabling environment for employees to feel okay to speak on ethical concerns so that in the organization the leadership should make sure that that environment exists. not like what you you referred to earlier, that you find it so difficult to even uh, uh, um, t- um, deviate from what your manager or your leader stands for. You see, but in this modern system, you create that enabling environment for your team to also feel free and speak on ethical concerns. By following these strategies, modern leaders can navigate competitive pressures
Mm.
while maintaining high ethical standards and building a culture of integrity within their organizations. So, this is about what I can say in respect to ethics.
Awesome. Trust, credibility is everything. Goodwill
Absolutely.
is everything. Is everything. Is everything.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Doc. You have shared a lot with us. And before we leave you, we just want you to give us your final words. Then we can call it a day.
Okay. What I would like to say is that in my endeavors, I always try that as a leader or an upcoming leader, let me put it, modestly, that
Mhm.
I always strive to leave a legacy that affirms uh, the leadership styles that I choose. In fact, the leadership styles, if you want a successful um, leadership regime, then you should not stick to one style. There are different styles that you have to, be operating by. And that is what I stand for, so that those who look up to me, my mentees, would know that I have developed a pace setting signature style with the ability to stretch into other styles
Mm.
as the unique events may warrant. So that whatever you are doing, if you operate this pace setting style, you are at liberty to be able to move from one style to the other. So I hope and wish that those who follow my leadership can come to terms with that fact. And that in this modern time, if you have the gift of creativity, then with training and discipline, your leadership skills can be sharpened. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doc. We are grateful for your time. God bless you. Indeed, you have left a legacy. And many young people are looking up to you and they are learning a lot. And now you have even gained more mentees on this platform. We are looking up to you and we appreciate your leadership and your legacy. Thank you so much. And God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, all too soon, we have
Thank
come to
you.
the end of this program. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Until we see you again next month with another episode of the Leadership Time. We say keep learning, keep developing yourself, keep being the best leader. There is potential in you. You can be a great leader. Just decide and take some of the things that Doc has shared with us and decide to work on them and implement. And look out for our leadership masterclass and learn a lot and grow as a leader. See you and God bless you all. Bye, everyone.